There's this whole section G, on the page 2 of the closing disclosure, in which you are establishing your escrow account. What is an escrow account? Hey everybody, welcome back to the North Carolina Real Estate Show. I'm Tiffany Weber, and I am a real estate attorney in Mooresville, North Carolina at Thomas & Weber. Today I'm joined by my husband, Ryan Weber.
Hello.
Who, for whatever reason, the people love it. It gets the people going.
It's provocative.
Please don't get provocative on this. Well, today's episode, we are talking about escrow accounts. So this is the segment where Ryan defines legal terms. What is an escrow account?
All right. So every month you pay into the escrow account. The escrow account then at the end of the year when taxes are due is paid by the mortgage lender. The mortgage lender uses the escrow account to pay for your taxes for your house.
Anything else?
The end.
Okay, so that was a pretty good framework. In your monthly payment, so you've got principal, interest, and unless you had escrow waived, you also pay into your escrow account. So principal, interest, taxes, insurance. So the portions of your payment that are not principal and interest, so your taxes, insurance, and PMI, goes into your escrow account, where it is held for safekeeping. Anytime you hear the word escrow, think of trust, position of trust. It's not commingled with other funds. It's set aside for a specific purpose. It does not belong to the lender. It belongs to you, the borrower, and then the lender uses your money that has been set aside for you to pay taxes, insurance, PMI. So PMI gets paid every month. You're going to see that as a debit on your statement every month. Taxes and insurance paid once a year. Now, you brought up on the closing statement the lump sum.
Because I've heard.
Do you want to give that another go, or you just...
Yeah, so every year you have to pay your property taxes, and you have to pay those in advance when you close on a house, or never. Yeah?
I'm shaking my head for those listening on Apple Podcasts. Shaking it no, specifically. So... on the closing statement, let's imagine we have a closing disclosure in front of us. You have to pay your insurance in advance, 1 year, starting on the day of closing. There's this whole section G, on the page 2 of the closing disclosure, in which you are establishing your escrow account. So typically your lender takes 2 or 3 months worth of taxes and insurance to fund the account.
That's to make sure you are not under, because they're just doing an estimation and they don't want you to have to come up with a lump sum at the end of the year when they need more money for your taxes and insurance.
Yeah, because if you decide, I'm not sending in that extra money, I think this is BS, well, you got to pay your taxes or it'll become a senior lien on the property and the lender is not going to be happy about that. You got to pay your insurance, because if there's a total loss of the property, then that lender security interest goes bye-bye. So those are of utmost importance to the lender to be paid. Now, can your escrow change?
Yeah, ours did.
Talk to the people about that.
Well, different options. Tax value of your house could have went up, so now taxes are more. Well, if your taxes are more and you have to pay larger tax bills at the end of the year, well, there needs to be more money coming out every month to make sure that you can pay for it at the end of the year.
Same thing if your insurance goes up. Now, how could it go down?
That's a great question, Tiff. Why don't we ask an expert? Hey, Tiffany. Can your escrow go down?
Yes.
Oh.
Do you remember how ours went down?
We got a reappraisal.
That's because
we did renovations.
Or
loan to value.
Look at that. I saw the light bulb go off.
It was flickering in there and it just...
So PMI is the private mortgage insurance is kind of intended to protect your lender in the event you can't pay them back. And that comes into play when you're borrowing a lot of money. So if you're using a program where you're borrowing more than like 70-80% of the loan to value, then the lender sees that as a slightly more risky loan. So the private mortgage insurance protects them and kind of mitigates some of their risk. So if your loan to value gets below their threshold that they've set for you in the loan documents, by you paying the mortgage down, then you can ask for the PMI to be removed. Another way to do that is if you have made significant improvements to the home that would affect the value to the extent that your loan to value is going to be below that threshold. So typically they're not going to do that in a short time frame. Like let's say you close in December and then in March you're like, well, I think the value of the house has gone up. They're not just going to come out and reappraise. You've got to show them that you have done significant improvements to the property that would result in increased value.
And your insurance
Could go down if you shop it.
Yeah.
Now, think about insurance. If you shop your insurance and you get a new policy and you don't tell the lender, they're going to see a canceled policy with the old insurer and think that you just canceled your insurance, and they will obtain insurance for you and make you pay it. So if you are getting a new insurance company, your lender has to be involved in that process unless you want to pay insurance twice.
Good advice there.
Well, escrow accounts, not that complicated once you...
If I can figure it out, it's pretty dang easy, I think.
But I really appreciate you coming out to be on the show again.
Leave us a review. I will read it.
Yes.
And maybe I'll read it in an accent.
Will you do it in
Any accent.
the country accent I've been doing to Kennedy?
Yeah, I'll do it. If you leave us a review, I'll read it in an accent.
On that note, thank you for joining us on the North Carolina Real Estate Show. It has been a pleasure. Hopefully we'll see you again. Get us some reviews so that you can come back on the show and do performances. I'm Tiffany Weber, real estate attorney at Thomas & Weber in Morrisville, North Carolina. We'll see you in the next episode.